Alright, welcome once again to this month's show on What is Your Story with Dr. Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romi TV Africa at Dr. Robert. Also. Yes. So my brother, so you say that you had started this.
Ulipiga ikaenda kwa wrong number.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to Romi TV Africa. My name is Mark Collins Ochieng, that is on Facebook, collins.ke on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, this is your first morning show, that is the newspaper review, where we tend to tackle the news stories that made headlines across your local dailies. Remember, we always tackle the Daily Nation and the Standard newspaper. I'm not alone, I'm joined by my two panelists who are going to help me to break down these stories and explain to you what they try to explain or what the impacts they have in our lives. So I will start with my right side. Welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning. I'm Teacher Baraza, Facebook, YouTube, Teacher Baraza. Welcome to the show.
Yes, on my left I also have a new guest. He's appearing for the first time here at Romi TV Africa. Please welcome on the show and please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Regina Mwangi.
Yes.
And I'm glad to be in the show. Welcome.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, we are going to start on the first story of the Daily Nation newspaper. And the story is about President Ruto urges World Bank, IMF to extend pandemic-related debt relief to worst-hit nations. So I'm going to read a bit about the stories, and then I'm going to ask you guys to give me your reaction concerning this story. So here is what the story says, that President William Ruto has called upon global financial institutions to extend public debt relief to developing countries in his first address as the head of state at the United General Assembly in New York. Dr. Ruto, while making his address, noted that many countries are still recovering from the adverse effects of COVID-19 pandemic, and the debt relief will go a long way in securing the development projects that have already been put in place by these countries. So let me quote him on what he had to say, then you'll give me your reactions. I will start with you, Teacher Baraza. So this is what he had to say. On behalf of Kenya, therefore I join other leaders in calling upon the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and other multilateral leaders to extend pandemic-related debt relief to the worst-hit countries, especially those affected by the devastating combination of conflict, climate change, and COVID-19. He also called upon other countries to partner with the developing countries to help in recovery of the pandemic. This is what he had to say. Kenya and the rest of Africa, like other developing countries, are in the need of greater international partnership and cooperation to avert the economic crisis in the wake of the pandemic. End of the quote. Teacher Baraza, what is your reaction to the President-elect Dr. William Ruto? His first visit abroad, he went to bury the Queen. Later on, they meet with other world dignitaries and leaders at the United Nations General Assembly, and when he was given the podium to talk or to give his speech, we saw him trying to advocate for a relief in terms of servicing the debts, as well as also trying to advocate for partnership with the World Bank and other developed countries to ensure that there is some investment so that we as Kenyans, or we as the developing countries or middle income countries, at least we can be able to survive and thrive. Comparing when you relate it to how harsh the economic times we are facing, what is your reaction on this?
I think for me it's a very good request that he made. If we check on the the state of the country right now,
Yes.
financially,
Yes.
actually we have a very high debt, of which it is one of the factors that has made the life standard to be very high
Yes.
currently,
Yes.
because of the debt that we have. And you know, we have to pay the debt at the same time. We have other needs that the country needs to cater for. And I think if IMF accept the request, it will be a very good relief to our nation. Yes, at least to bring down the standard of living as per now, currently.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your take on this story?
I think the president's urge and request to the IMF and World Bank and other multilateral lenders
Yes.
was necessary and well thought, because it's true that a lot of countries, especially Kenya, they are suffering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and his request was like, you know, trying to save us as Kenya, because we as much as we owe the debt, we cannot pay it at this particular moment, and not even in a few moments later we can't. So his request was well thought, and I think it was necessary.
Well, thank you for your reaction on this story. Moving on to the second story. The second story is about how COVID billions stolen from US was spent in Nairobi's South Sea, Diani Beach front properties. So I'll read the story a bit and then you'll react on the story. Investigators have named several Kenyans as suspects in a scheme where COVID-19 mitigation measures were subverted to defraud the United States government of a whopping 30 billion between middle 2020 and February this year. The more than 47 suspects acquired prime beach front homes in Kenya, US and Turkey, as well as pricey jewelry and high-end apartments in Nairobi and Dubai. A large part of the loot was also splurged on top of the range vehicles, including Porsches, Teslas, Hyundai, and the latest brands of Ford. Investigators have named several Kenyans as suspects in a scheme where COVID-19 mitigation measures were subverted to defraud the United States government of a whopping 30 billion between mid-2020. So this story is talking about the money. Okay, from this story we are learning that even the developed countries, corruption is still there. Looting of public resources is also happening. There's not only at the developing countries alone. So the United States of America is saying that they are trying to investigate an incident where people who are working in Minnesota, that is in New York City, they were given money which was meant to caution the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic during that time of the pandemic. But now the people who are given those funds, they never utilized it well to serve the people of the country. Instead, they diverted the money into their own initiatives. They opened some agencies or some units for helping the needy and even gave it the name, but you would find that those companies they opened, they were fake. So when the US, when the United States of America, they were doing the investigation, they later on come to realize, or on their findings, they found that part of that money was stashed in our country, whereby the culprits or the perpetrators, those who are involved in the offense, they used the money to buy or to invest by buying some houses here in Kenya. They even bought some luxury vehicles. And now the United States of America wants them to get back the money. What is your reaction on this story? Because for me, I've learned something that we always maybe criticize our country so much for corruption. Yes, we need to ensure that each money counts. But it's sad and it's shocking that even the United States, a scandal like this one of looting public resources also happens. And I can say maybe partly it's an advantage because those people, those culprits who took that offense, I can say maybe they tried to use the money well by reverting some to a country where they bought some properties, and also themselves they tried to enjoy their life by buying luxurious vehicle. What is your take about this issue of corruption, and also our country looking it on a global angle? Does it portray as well? Because how can someone steal money and then come and invest in our country as well? We are also known as a corrupt country. What do you have to say?
Now, if we look back,
Yes.
there's a time Mike Songo wanted to travel abroad.
Yes.
And to US,
Yeah.
and he was prevented. He could not go because the embassy said,
Yes.
we cannot accept Mike Sonko to our country because he has a case of corruption.
Corruption, yeah, that is very true.
Yeah, and now if we look at them,
Yes.
now they were involved in corruption.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So I think this thing, it's all over the world. So, and corruption actually, if we look at the money, even in Kenya only,
Yes.
the money that was meant to help those people who were affected by COVID.
Yeah, to cushion them. Yeah.
Yeah, but they could not. Those money went to people's pockets.
Yes.
If you there's a scandal that was going on, whereby some money had lost. Billions of money actually people had stolen.
I remember the KEMSA scandal, which
KEMSA
dealt
scandal,
with the medical supply, the drugs.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as a country now, because now we have the new government,
Yes.
I think it's good that we change the new president with the new things to avoid this. Actually, it's a very bad picture to our country.
Yes.
And if we are able to manage this corruption, I think our country will actually will move to the next step, because we are behind because of COVID.
Yes.
Yes. I mean because of corruption.
Okay.
Yes.
Regina, what is your reaction to this story pertaining the stashing of money in our country and the money that was meant to cushion the citizens of the United States of America from the COVID-19 raging times? Part of that money has been used in investment in our country, and also as well, those people, those culprits, they decided to open fake companies in the name of assisting the needy, but it didn't happen. So it was just a PR stunt, only the money to be channeled in their pockets. What do you have to say about the issue of corruption, and also how do you look at it based on our country? What does it portray in the public limelight in terms of multilateral ties? Yes.
Okay, I think for me it's still sad that corruption is still an issue, even at this era.
Yes.
Because how can funds to help the needy be like used for corruption, you know, for selfish desires? And these people who actually took this money and invested in these things, there are people who have it. I think there are people who have still made it, and just the thought of humanity to help the needy is what we should like look. Because this maybe I call them thieves or suspects
Yes.
who took this money. There are people already, they have made it in life. So
Yes.
I don't think it's just an accident, it's something intentional, and it's selfish desires, and it's something that should stop. My urge is that if these suspects are caught, they should be dealt with accordingly.
Do you think maybe due to that act, do you think maybe United States of America and our country, maybe they can decide it can trigger maybe breaking of multilateral ties between Kenya and US? Do you think, or that's just something a minor?
Not really, because of you know, people who are involved in the money. They're just few individuals,
Okay.
of which they can be dealt with.
Yes.
If they follow the required channels, they can be dealt with, and I don't think that it will have a main effect between the relationship of Kenya and the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for your sentiments. Going to the third story on the Daily Nation. The story is about Raila calls ODM crisis, meeting amidst disquiet in party. Okay? So this is what the story has to say. Raila seeks to quell disquiet in the party over House leadership before Parliament begins its sitting. The meeting will also discuss and come up with the names of proposed chairpersons and vice chairpersons for House committees. There has been disquiet about certain individuals in the House leadership lineup that was announced by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka on Saturday. So ODM leader Raila Odinga has called a parliamentary group meeting next week to quell disquiet in the party over House leadership before Parliament sitting. Besides the leadership lineup, the meeting will discuss and come up with names of the proposed chairpersons and vice chairpersons for House committees. There has been disquiet about certain individuals in the House leadership lineup that was announced by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka. The nation has learned that the meeting had been scheduled for tomorrow but was moved next week because of the ongoing induction of members of the National Assembly in Nairobi and that of senators in Nakuru. There is party wrangles or there is party conflict within the ODM party under the umbrella of Azimio la Umoja One Coalition. And what is bringing this wrangle is about the issue of position, the issue of who to assign or who to take the leadership of certain position. So remember on Saturday meeting where they were at Machakos, Wiper leader came out and read, or the way they had agreed on that meeting was that Opiyo Wandayi was set to take the seat for majority leader at the National Assembly. But in the 12th Parliament, this is 13th Parliament, John Mbadi was the one who was the majority leader for the National Assembly. But yesterday when we watched news, we saw him coming out gun blazing, saying that he's uncomfortable with the decision that the party made. They decided to kick him out of that position and replaced him with Opiyo Wandayi. So he feels as if he has been rejected, he feels as if he has been betrayed, and he was dwelling on the fact that he played a major role as far as campaign rallies of Raila was concerned, as far as forwarding, trying to bring some bills in Parliament. So this has made Raila now to get back the drawing board, and he's set to meet them for a meeting and decide to discuss about that matter. What is your take about ODM? Because before they had already picked Opiyo Wandayi, and Mbadi led on the 12th Parliament. Right now we are on the 13th Parliament. Do you think Mbadi should retain the seat, or it's time at least we also give an opportunity to other leaders to take that position? Because he's blaming the party for betraying him, he's blaming the party for rejecting him when he stood out with them in a very important situations. What do you have to say?
For me,
yes.
Okay, you know, in this one now, in this story,
yes,
Raila has a very big role to solve. Raila and Kalonzo, they have a very big role
to play yes,
in solving the matter. Like now, Mbadi should actually, maybe they should agree and give him another position.
Okay.
Then his role should be given to another person, actually, because of you cannot have one person for a very long time.
For a very yet, we cannot keep on recycling the leaders.
Yet we have others who can replace him.
Yes.
And they can play another role.
Yes.
So for him, he should not feel like he's being rejected now and he's been standing with the party for a long time.
Yes.
It's a matter of they sit down, they agree, and plan their party well.
Okay.
Because of when you have crisis in the party, that's where you will have cracks in the party. Mm-hmm. Other people will now be moving to maybe another coalition like Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
That's where now the Kenya Kwanza now are happy that there is crisis in this Azimio.
Yes.
So that they can convince others to join them.
Rejoin them.
Yeah. So Azimio should plan their party well,
mm-hmm,
and try to solve the cases and issues within the party for them to move on.
Regina,
Yeah.
your thoughts of reaction concerning this story about John Mbadi complaining him being replaced as the majority leader in the National Assembly, with another person feeling that he's uncomfortable with that decision. They never maybe did proper consultation, or they never involved him So he feels as if the party is betraying him, considering in mind that he played a very important role in the 12th Parliament. What do you have to say? Is it time for Raila to replace him with another leader, or to retain him, or to give him another position to serve in other capacities? What is your take?
Okay, I think Mr. Raila should just replace him.
Yes.
You know, this man has been here for a long time.
Yes.
And if they feel he cannot fit this position, then there must be a reason.
Yes.
You know, you cannot just wake up one day and decide something you never planned for.
Okay.
So I think it was a well-calculated move.
Yes.
Well thought, well designed. So I think his replacement is a good idea.
Yes.
They have the reasons for that.
Do you think maybe the guy who has replaced him will be able to do more, or will deliver more than what Mbadi did?
I'm not sure about that.
Yes.
But if he's ready for the job, then I'm sure he will deliver what he's supposed to.
What do you think? Do you think Mbadi will deliver more? Will he do an incredible job compared to, Wandai? Will he do an incredible job compared to what Mbadi did?
Let them give him a chance,
yes,
so that we can see his capacity.
Okay.
Yes, the same way Mbadi was given a chance,
yes,
and we saw his capacity. So the same thing.
Yeah.
Let them give one day a chance, okay, to serve.
Okay.
Yes.
We are going to the fourth story. Now the fourth story is about bring back my son. Mother cries out to Ruto and Gachagua. So since President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua were sworn in on September 13th, Miss Jane Gatwiri has gone on her knees 1,000 times and talked to God, hoping her prayers will be answered. During campaigns, the two politicians spoke about forced disappearance blamed on security agencies and pledged to address the matter if elected. It is this plague that keeps Miss Gatwiri's spirit alive that one day her son, Mwenda Mbijiwe, will return home. The security consultant went missing on 12th June 2021. The following day, a car he had hired for 3 weeks for a business was discovered in a coffee plantation near Tattoo City in Kiambu County. 15 months later, Ms. Gatwiri still clings to hope that her son will come back home alive. Lately, the mother of four says she can see flickers of light at the end of the tunnel. Dozens of people have disappeared in recent years, their bodies later found dumped in rivers or thickets. Although this news drives chills up her spine, Ms. Gatwiri remains optimistic her son is still alive. So the story is talking about a mother who is deeply concerned about his son. His son went on disappearance one day when he was going for a business trip at Tattoo in Kiambu County. But later on, it's being said that the son was a security consultant, but it's being said that the car he had hired 3 weeks for a business was discovered in a coffee plantation. But there was no body of the dead. Like this story is trying to just cite to us the cases of people disappearing, and mostly when they disappear or when they vanish, there's always that likeliness of finding the bodies, whether they are dead or they are cut. Okay, but to her, the news that came is that the vehicle was found in a plantation, but there was no dead body. His son was not found dead. So he still hopes, he still prays. He has even tried to approach the outgoing president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, and told him about his son's disappearance. Even when President Ruto and Gachagua, when they were campaigning on those sides, he went and asked them to help him, to assist him, to be able to trace his son, and at least the son can come back. I don't know what is your reaction on this, because cases of missing person has become normal in our country, and they are very, very numerous. This is not the first case, but it's always unfortunate that most of these cases, they always come with the loss of life. What do you have to say about the security of our country? Because even on this week, we tackled three others earlier on Monday and Tuesday. This one is another one. Where should we start from in terms of security? Because nowadays, it's a matter of riskiness, because now we fear for our life. You have someone is telling you maybe he's going to somewhere, but you are not sure if he will be able to come back. You can't be able to trace him. You can't be able to track where he is. Maybe the phone number has gone off. Okay, the direction, the communication is not there. What can we do to reduce these cases? Because it's even happening in our kids, the little kids, the kindergarten. They are getting lost, and we always have those adverts everywhere on our newspapers. What do you think should we do?
I think, and these cases have been increasing since election. After
Yes.
election,
Yeah.
they have really increased, and actually the security agencies
Yeah.
should be keen and
Yeah.
be serious on investigating such matters,
Yes.
because in most cases such cases are reported
Mm.
and no proper investigation is done.
Yes.
They are just promised tomorrow. We are still carrying out with the investigations and all that.
Yeah.
So I think the security agencies should be serious
Yes.
and take these matters seriously, because these matters of people disappearing, they have increased actually,
Yes.
and I think the president should be quick
Yeah.
in appointing the new CS and new agencies for security, because of I think they have relaxed, because they know like someone like Matiang'i is going, so he has like such powers that he had before to manage and control the security. So I think the president should hurry and appoint the new ministers and CS so that they can start work. Yeah, because these matters are increasing. We need new leadership to take over and look into
Regina, what is your reaction on this story as far as security is concerned? Because each and every day we come across stories concerning people getting lost, people disappearing. Some they are found they have died. Others maybe they were injured. What do you have to say about the security concern in our country? Because it's now raising an alarm.
Okay, this is a serious situation.
Yes.
And that is not being taken seriously. You know, as security, I believe this Mwenda was security consultant or something.
Yeah.
I think the country should like be serious on this issue of security.
Yes.
You know, we cannot be losing people each and every day.
Yeah.
The other day I saw like 7 people like were retrieved from Ribayala.
Yes.
What we don't know where these bodies come from. We don't know how they end up in rivers. We don't know.
Yes.
And this Mwenda is, I believe in the power of instincts.
Okay.
This Mrs. Gaturi says that she hopes someday the son will come back.
Yes.
All we can do is pray to God that her instincts are true,
Okay.
and this son will come back.
Mhm.
But the country should be aware of this, and I think they are aware of this. It should be a serious situation that should be taken seriously.
Personally, I feel maybe the working institutions and even the learning institutions, I think they should work, they should partner, they should work in hand, so that, because we cannot just say the security alone. Them alone, they cannot be able to deliver, I mean, their role as security agencies. But I think it's now a high time that now we embrace working together. For instance, the schools, now maybe they need to be working with some security agencies to ensure that when they are ferrying their kids maybe to various homes, the security agencies are with them to ensure that they reach home safely and they are there at the right time. Because we don't know about, life has become miserable and we don't know what is going to happen. Maybe today you might read a story, tomorrow it happens to your family, to your friend, to your relative. That is when you will come to reality. So maybe the government should tighten up its speed in terms of containing, this act of people getting lost, as well also the other working institutions, be it job, be it school. They should also ensure that they work together with the security to beef up the security lives of people.
Even within the community,
Yes.
where people are living.
Yeah.
I think there's this thing they formed called Nyumba Kumi.
Initiative.
The
Yeah.
initiative.
I remember it.
Yes. So I think they should actually take this thing serious,
Yes.
because of, for example, we are living in this area.
Yeah.
and new people are coming around, we suspect anything cheeky, it's good that we report. It's also good for us to become security of ourselves.
Yes.
Be vigilant,
Yeah.
wherever we are.
Be your brother's keeper.
Yes, exactly. And if you suspect anything, it's good that you get in touch with the security officers around and maybe the police stations.
Okay.
Yes.
And I also feel I think maybe we should have a number that in case maybe you are kidnapped or you are abducted, you can be able to call. I don't know if that number is there.
Yeah,
there should be a free number.
Yeah, there's a number.
Like the one for Kenya Power, you call 999, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that number also, we should be given that number. What's your last reaction on this story as we are going to take a commercial break? What else would you like to add?
All I can urge the government is to be serious on the welfare of the people of Kenya,
Yes.
especially those who work for the government.
Okay.
The government should be so keen on safeguarding their safety.
Well, guys, we are taking a fast commercial break. Remember, you're watching Newspaper Review with me, Mark Collins Oching, as your host. That is my name on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter is at collins.ke. And right now we are taking a break. When we come back, we will be dealing with the standard. So keep it Romi TV Africa.
Alright, welcome once again to this month's show on What is Your Story with Dr.Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romi TV Africa at Dr.Robert Osoro.
So my brother, so you say that you had started this.
Ulipiga ikaenda kwa wrong number.
Yeah.
Hello guys, welcome to Romi TV Africa. Remember, this is Newspaper Review. Oh, sorry to the director. This is the Newspaper Review, and right now we are going to tackle the last story on the Daily Nation, and that is story about Giuliani. So yesterday we saw a clip, or we saw a video about Giuliani trying to answer his fans and the whole fraternity of Kenya about the story of brokenness that emerged on social media. So rapper Julius Owino, popularly known as Giuliani, has shed more lights as why he put out a fundraising pay bill number on social media, asking his fans to send him money. In a recorded video, Giuliani starts off by explaining how remarks made by controversial blogger Andrew Kibe about his financial status hurt him. He explained that when his son was born, he had anticipated spending at least 6 months exclusive time with him. However, due to past commitments, he was forced to go back to work and look for money to see through some projects he had started. Let me quote what he had to say. I don't mind trolls. I actually find some of them funny. Yesterday, when Kibe mentioned my child, I was like, it's funny, but to me, it was a little bit serious. When my child was born, I gave myself 3 to 6 months just to spend and soak in all this, help the mom and just be present as a dad to my second child. But I could not, because earlier that month, I did an event called Nairobi Startup Week. I put my money into it. I did not have sponsors or investors. So I am not able to spend time with my son right now because I am running around trying to pay debts and achieve some things I have promised myself. Julian then acknowledges that he's indeed broke, but this does not mean that he is poor. He says money is currently invested in projects which are yet to yield returns. So me having come across this story and having read the sentiments of Giuliani, one thing that I can say about this story is that it seems like in marriage or when you enter into a relationship, it means that when you have a kid, it means that a kid comes with a cost. Any moment you are in a relationship and then it happens that you are blessed with a kid, then prepare yourself for hard times. Prepare yourself to spend a lot of money as far as raising the kid is concerned. Guys, what is your take about this story? Because we are seeing two angles of this story. Giuliani himself is claiming or is accepting that he's broke indeed, but he's not that broke. He's not broke like compared to that one of someone who is a poor, because the money he had previously, he invested in them in Nairobi Startup Week, but so far so good. So far he has not been able to get the returns. He has not been able to get the money back or the profit in terms of investment. Do you think what Giuliani said, or what Giuliani was trying to say, is it something that was good, or it was something that sometimes is it good to just accept or to proclaim that you are broke, you should always hide? What is your
no, I think he's very right. Huh?
Yeah.
There's no need of you pretending
Yes.
that you have, yet you don't have.
You don't have.
It's good that he has come out.
Yes.
Because of this thing of hiding things, this is where we find people committing suicide. Because they are keeping the problem within themselves. At the end of the day, they'll end up killing themselves because they have it inside.
Yeah.
And because they are not ready to share.
Yes.
And maybe, when someone shares a problem, to help him is very easy, because to be helped is easy. Yes. So I think it's not bad that he accepts that he is broke. Yeah. It's a good thing.
Okay. To you, Regina, what is your thought? Because there's a way in which us, the fans of these celebrities, there's a way we always overrate them, to the extent that if someone comes out and confesses about something, we always tend to have maybe a negative thought about him. Do you think Giuliani did the right thing to say maybe he's broke, and though he's not that poor, but he's broke because partly of the money that he had invested in some project, but has not yielded the fruits in terms of the returns, as well as also is acknowledging that when you have a child, you have a responsibility. So
first,
bringing up a kid is very expensive. Yeah.
Okay, first, these celebrities, you'll never understand them.
Yes.
And they only give or portray what they really want you to know.
Yes.
So never at a point you as a fan think you know them. What they portray is what they want you to know. So they decide what you should know about them.
Yes.
But again, I should recommend his audacity. It takes a lot of courage to just tell people what you're going through.
Yes.
And these people are human. Trust me, you as a fan,
yeah,
and nobody knows you out there, just an ordinary person.
Yes.
You may be doing well than these celebrities. They go a lot of some stuffs, a lot of shit. They go a lot of things. So him just coming clean, this is what I'm going through, putting that baby.
Yeah.
I think he's just kind of low.
Yes.
And he just needs someone who can pull up for him. Yeah.
Okay.
It was nice of him.
Okay. Now we are moving on to the Standard. And the Standard, the first story we are going to deal with is the story about President Ruto locks Uhuru's CSS to duty but with less power. So this story tends to tackle about the cabinet secretaries who held position in the previous regime, and right now President William Samoei Ruto has decided to lock them out of going to other countries, citing that he needs to appoint CSs first in order to give them room maybe to travel abroad. What do you have to say? Do you think maybe I don't know what's wrong with me. I'd like to say, do you think that William Ruto is doing the right thing? Because some people are feeling like now this is some form of anarchy, this is some form of dictatorship. Why do you want to lock out people who are not going to serve on your regime? They served in the previous regime. Why don't you just give them that leeway to go to where they want? Why are you trying to lock them out? Yet they know that they are not going to serve in other capacity. They don't have any other job to perform in the government. So they want to go out to other countries to play different roles that they have been assigned there. What is your take on this story?
I think the president did that meanwhile.
Yeah.
Actually, the suspension is not that permanent.
Yeah.
It's because of if you look at the back, these guys, like the security agencies, like the kind of Matiang'i and all that, they were not going along with
him.
With him.
Yes.
And So
this is a form of revenge.
In this current government,
Yeah.
these guys are not going to be in the government.
He even said
so
that he will not appoint
Yeah.
anybody in the opposition
Yeah.
to give him advocate to serve in his government.
Yeah, and so I think he felt like these guys may go out of outside the country
Yeah.
without proper handing over.
Oh.
I think he did that because of until he appoints the new ministers
Okay, to facilitate
to
that.
facilitate that
Okay.
smooth
That
handing over. I think
Okay,
that's
I
why he
get
did
it.
this. Yes.
Okay. Your reaction on this, Regina?
Okay, for me, I don't think it's some kind of dictatorship.
Yeah.
It's some kind of working with those who you know well. You know, this man, I understand where he's coming from. This is our president.
Yeah.
You know, at his time, it was there was a time like being his friend was a crime. You know, and Matiang'i was one of the enemies. He made him go through a rough time, and him just doing what he has done. It's not like getting back at him. It's working with who he know. You know, but that they're like. You know, you cannot work with someone who's against you.
Yeah.
You cannot still work with someone who was like pushing you away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the last story that we are going to tackle before we close this show is about an education story where a teacher responded to MP Didmas Baraza of Kimilili that we don't eat your chicken. So guys, when I come across this story, when I read this story, is about there was a scathing attack that teacher Didmas, Member of Parliament for Kimilili, that is Didmas Baraza, he was trying to talk about the competency-based curriculum. He was trying to say that this curriculum should be abolished because our kids are making us to suffer. They tend to use a lot of material. They take it to school for purposes of practical, as far as lesson is concerned. But now they are leaving us here to languish in terms of maybe rearing the livestock or in terms of eating as far as consumption is concerned. So guys, I don't know what you have to respond about this thing, because we've seen different politicians taking different angle concerning CBC.
Mm-hmm.
Even I can cite some of them. One also was that is the current senator for Kakamega, Dr. Boni Halwale. He also said it on his Twitter that the curriculum should be abolished because it's just a wastage of resources, and even parents cannot be able to keep up with it in terms of costly and in terms of materials to be used. Because at the moment it seems like the school is not providing enough materials for these students to use in their practicals or in their learning lessons.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about this issue of CBC and also the materials that is concerned in terms of learning? Do you think it's the right time to abolish, or is the right time to review and see areas that we can be able to rectify? Or what angle or what else can we do to improve the CBC? What is your take when I start with you, Regina?
Okay, CBC is positive and negative at some point.
Yes.
The positivity side of it is that these kids of ours, they don't really have to waste time on things that are not helping them.
Yes.
You know, CBC focuses on what you really know as a person,
Yeah.
what you're good at, what you're interested in. Not unlike us, who we studied things like chemistry and we ended up in media, and chemistry is not helping us anymore.
Yeah.
So CBC is good on that point. But again, the negativity side of it is this. We are not the same. We don't come from the same social classes.
True.
There are people from remote areas, you know, like those Ushagos.
Yeah.
They can't afford some things these teachers are asking for.
Yeah.
You know, come home with a needle, with some things, with funny things.
Yes.
Not every parent will afford these things.
True.
So I believe CBC is not fair to all. And for me, I think it should be abolished.
Should be abolished. Teacher Baraza, you are working at Benedicta Academy, and we know there they have embraced that curriculum. We've made several inroads there as you are hosting different events to cover. What is your take concerning the CBC? Because this lady was responding that, the teacher was responding to Member of Parliament for Kimilili that we don't eat your chickens. He was referring to the materials that the school always tends to require from the kids. What did you have to say?
I think for me, the education part is okay. The politicians, I mean the education sector is okay. Politics and education.
Yes.
These guys are okay. If we look at these politicians,
Yeah.
like the president currently,
Yeah.
when this CBC was being brought in,
Yes.
he was among those who supported. They said him and Uhuru, they're the ones who came up with the idea, and they said, let's change the curriculum.
Yeah.
Now that he's coming in, he was against the president. He started opposing the. I think there is kind of a hypocrisy here, because the same leaders who said let's change the curriculum are the same leaders who are saying let's abolish this thing.
Yes.
Two, if we look at now, if they say they abolish the old system,
Yeah, the old system. Yeah.
now where should these kids over 3 million go? Because we have over 3 million kids now.
Yes.
Actually, there are over 3 million who are doing the curriculum. Like now, we have those who are in grade 6. They are over 1.5 million. So if they abolish it like now,
True.
so it means we are going to waste the lives of 1.5 million kids. So I think for them, the best thing they should do is maybe, yes, I agree to some point, it is a bit expensive.
Yeah.
And the government rushed in implementing it because of, they were not ready actually. Because of, if you look at the public schools, this thing is not practical there. This thing is practical in private schools because they can afford. So they should at least abolish some parts, but not the whole curriculum.
Not the whole curriculum.
Looking at the life of the children.
Actually, even I would like maybe to quote Sosion was also against it. He was saying that it should be abolished because it's very expensive. And also the point that you said about the President William Ruto. Previously, we saw him. He signed some committee to go and review. The competency-based curriculum to see on areas that they can improve and on areas that they can be able to remove.
Yes, if they do that, then they will help, but not just abolishing the whole curriculum.
Okay. Yes. So guys, we are coming to the end of this show. Remember, you've been watching Newspaper Review. I'm your host, Mark Collins Ocheng on Facebook, Collins.ke on Instagram and Twitter. And we've been talking, or we've been dwelling on the stories that made headlines on your local dailies. That is the Standard and the Daily Nation. So right now you can visit the nearest vendor, grab your copy, and ensure that you read intensively and extensively to get the information that is making headlines in your country. So guys, I will give you 2 seconds to give me your to give your social media address as we wind up this show. I will start with you, Regina.
Instagram, Regina Samuel. Twitter at Regina Samuel. Facebook, Regina Samuel.
Thank you so much for making time with us. Teacher Baraza, maybe as you close.
Facebook, Honorable Baraza.
Yes.
The page Teacher Baraza, YouTube Teacher Baraza. Yes.
Remember guys, this show has been going live on our social media pages. That is at Romi TV Africa on YouTube, Romi TV Africa on Facebook, Romi TV Africa on Instagram, and Romi TV Africa on Twitter. Tomorrow, same place, same time, we will be also doing another newspaper review, but tomorrow we will be doing it in Kiswahili because we will be tackling on the Taifa Leo. So up next is going to be Chat Sport. So keep watching Romi TV Africa. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. Until another day, enjoy the rest of your day.
Alright, welcome once again to Desmond Show on What is Your Story with Dr.Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romi TV Africa at Dr.Robert.
So my brother, so you say that you had started this